Good morning, readers. Today for our lesson, you're going to need your reading notebook, glue stick, a pencil, and your green resource folder that's inside of your anchor binder. Remember, do not take your green folder out of your anchor binder, just have it there for reference. We're going to go ahead and start by looking in our table of contents. Today, we are going to be continuing to add to our reading list by making sure that we leave enough space for the reading list. So if we turn back to page 8, you should have last week written in the first 14 books that we've read together. You can continue to add in the new books that we've also read as a class. So we've read the Alexander, and His Horrible Day. This language is abbreviating. We've also read How to Read a Book. And then this morning we read The Only One You. As you are reading on Epic, you can continue to add to your list as well, but we want to make sure that we're going to give ourselves enough room to add to this list throughout. So we're going to turn the page to page 9 to have the list continue. The next page will be page 10. Turn the page 11, page 12. So we're going to give ourselves the rest of page 8, page 9, 10, 11, and 12. You might need more space because we're going to take this throughout the year. So if you need some more space, we can always add in blank notebook paper later. But for today, we're going to turn the page to page 13. 13 is going to be the beginning of our next lesson. So going into our green folder, go ahead and open up to your left pocket. These are our reading resources. The right side is just some information about our picture collage cover for our writer's notebook that we took care of on Schoology. So this little information page you can take out and put somewhere else. We won't need that anymore. So looking at our teach pages, there are 2 teach pages that we're not going to actually end up inserting. And this is because we're virtually meeting instead of meeting on the carpet for our reading workshop. These are important for us to remember, but not necessarily in the format that we're learning today. So the turning and talking and the independent reading. So you can take those 2 out and put those away because we won't need those for our notebook. Today, though, we're going to be taking out 2 pages, How do Readers Choose Books and Building Stamina. So just those 2, then you can close your green folder in your anchor binder and put your anchor binder off in your basket. So we're going to glue in our pages we need. The first one is going to be How do Readers Choose Books. It's going to go on page 13, so I'm going to get out my glue stick. Put the glue on the outside like a frame, and then X out through the middle, and turn it over to insert on that left page, page 13. Then I'm going to go ahead and on the top right page, put a number 14, and then glue in my last teach page that we're going to go over today, which is Building Stamina. So once again, use your glue stick on the back, put a frame, and then put the X through the middle. And flip it over and smooth it out. So now that we have our 2 teach pages, we can go back to our table of contents to insert them. So we are on page 13, and How do Readers Choose Books? So I'm going to put a number 13 as the page number. How do readers choose books? And that is on 8-25-20. The second page that we're going to go over today in our lesson is page 14 on Building Stamina. So we're going to put page 14, Building Stamina. And it's the same date, 8-25-20. And just like any other video that we're watching for our lessons, remember to pause, catch up, make sure that you're organizing the way that I'm asking you to, and you're recording all of the information that I write in my notebook as well. All right, we're going to go ahead and turn back to page 13, where our lesson is. And we're going to start by looking at the lesson, How Do Readers Choose Books? So as we begin our independent reading, and yesterday we took our reading diagnostic to start determining what level reader we are, we need to know how to pick a book that's just right for ourselves. So we can grow as readers, and it can also help us build some interest in topics. So underneath the title, it says there are many things to consider when you are choosing a book. Readers can use pick, so the letters pick, to help them choose a good book. So we're going to go ahead and write some notes. So remember, as we're writing, if I go faster than your hand, just pause the video and you can get yourself caught up. So looking at the letter P, this is going to be the word purposeful. And purposeful is what is the purpose for reading the book. What is the purpose for reading? So are we reading to learn specific information about a topic? So is it an informational text? Are we looking at a book to find some character growth? So something specific the character is dealing with in a dilemma. What is the purpose of the reading? So the first letter is purposeful. What's the purpose of us choosing a specific book? The next is interest. So go ahead and write the word interest. And the question that we ask ourselves is, does this book interest me? So oftentimes for us to dive into a book and feel like we're just lost in that book, we usually have to find a book that is of interest. So something that keeps our attention or makes us want to continue to read to find out what happens next. Or if it's an informational book that we're reading to find out how to do something or learn more about a topic that really piqued our interest. The C stands for comprehend. So when we think about how to choose a book, when we comprehend something, it's, do I understand the topic? So when we're choosing books, we don't want to pick a book about a topic that we have no background knowledge on, or there's no interest there, because we're going to have a really hard time comprehending what the author intends us to comprehend. So we might need to do a little bit more work if it is a more challenging topic. And the last part is know, K-N-O-W. And do I know the words in the book? So if the words in the book are a little bit too challenging, then I'm going to have a really hard time then comprehending and then keeping my interest, and then the purpose is lost. So do I know the words in the book? And when we think about these 4 questions, or 4 different ways for us to consider how to choose a book, this will help make sure that we're in that just right book. So thinking about vocabulary, do we have background knowledge? Do we have interest? What's the purpose there? And then can I read the words that are actually on the page? And then when we think about readers, we say readers should also consider, and we're going to put a few different questions here. We're going to put the genre. The genre is going to help us know what style the book is written in. So is it a fantasy, or is it a fairy tale? Is it a scientific fiction book? There's lots of different types of books, and if we understand the genre, we can then understand if it's the right book for the purpose that we have. The next part is, does it interest me? So when we read the book description, so oftentimes we turn a book over to read the back. We might also want to just read the first chapter or the first couple pages to see if it piques an interest for ourselves. We can think about the author. I love to read Kate DiCamillo books, so I know that if there is a book by Kate DiCamillo, I most likely will really enjoy that book because I've read so many of her books and what she's written. So author is oftentimes something that we look at to help us kind of find a book that we will enjoy. And then we can think of also, is it a part of a series? So if you like an Encyclopedia Brown or Harry Potter or lots of different types of series out there in different genres, that might help you determine what's the next book that you want to read. And then oftentimes we might hear of a book that was based for a movie. So if we find some movies that you might be enjoying, you might see that there is a book that it was originally based off of. So those are just some extra things that we can consider when thinking about how to find a book. Moving on to our building stamina, as independent readers, it is very important for us to be able to sit with a good book and to read uninterrupted for a length of time. Yesterday in class, you were asked to go on Epic, find a chapter book of interest, and then make sure that you read at least 10 minutes uninterrupted. So we're going to look at some of this information on how can we build some stamina in reading. So building stamina. Stamina, and I'm going to box that word because that might be a new word for you, is the ability to stay focused on reading for a long period of time. So I'm going to underline stay focused for a long period of time. Every day that you read, you want to work on building your stamina. So in class, we would be reading for a certain amount of time where we would find our reading spots, and you would be asked to continue to do some real reading. So when you're at home, it's going to look just slightly different. You need to find yourself a cozy place and make sure that you are giving your book your 100% attention. So when we think about readers that show and demonstrate stamina, the first is they read a lot. Because just like with anything, the more you practice at something, the better you're going to get. So reading will help you build stamina. The next is use reading strategies while, so we're going to fill in that word while, they are reading. The next is read a variety. That's the next word to fill in, variety of genres. So don't just stick with a mystery series. Try to read mystery or comedy, or there's lots of different books. So try out a variety. The fourth is to write about their reading. So you will see that we will be starting our writing responses to reading this week, and this will be a very important part of our reading workshop. Then we have read books over and over again. Stay focused. So write in that word focused. And then the last is I want you to enjoy reading. It is so important for you in your future to find books that you enjoy reading and for you to do that in your spare time. So we want to definitely make sure that we are promoting that love of reading. Readers that don't show stamina, so readers without, I'm going to box that word without, show these following things. So they don't read a lot, or they fake read. So I'm going to write that word fake in capital letters. This week, we're going to talk about the difference between real reading and fake reading. The next is don't use strategies while they are reading. They only read a few books or genres. The next is they rarely, and then we're going to fill in the words finish books or reread books. And then the next is get distracted. And I think this is one that's really popular with our fourth graders. You get distracted by things going on around you. It could be someone that's sitting around you making noises. It could be looking out the window about what's going on outside. You could be watching the clock because you're hungry and you want some lunch. but you need to make sure that you're finding yourself a spot that's not going to cause some distractions for you. And then the last, readers without stamina, they don't enjoy reading. They do it because they have to, but they don't do it because they enjoy it. So we have to try to really work on finding those books that are going to spark that love of reading. And then the last thing, what are some things we're going to do to build your stamina? So the first is to set a goal. So write in the word goal for a specific number of minutes you want to read and make a challenge. So this is something that in class, your teacher is going to be giving you the desired time that we're going to be reading independently. When you do your homework reading time, this is also going to be given to you. But when you do your pleasure reading on your own, you can set that number goal for yourself. Number 2 is to make a plan. So write the word plan. To increase your stamina a little bit each day, use a timer to help. So this is something that we're going to be doing together. When Mrs. Lang tells you the time that we're going to be reading, you will see that we're going to start with 10 minutes, and then each week we're going to add more and more time to that goal. And then the last one is to use a chart or graph to help, and then we're going to write the word track, how much you are reading each day. So just like with multiplication and your fluency of those fact families, we are also going to track our stamina and how many minutes that we're doing our reading. So today we talked about how do readers choose good books using the word pick, remembering to look at the purpose, your interests, comprehension, and do I know the words that are in this particular text? And then how can we build stamina to become a better reader? Making sure that we give ourselves a time goal and that we're free of distractions. All right, my readers, have a great day.